Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and it is an honor, pleasure, and a source of joy to be sitting with someone who has consciously lived life and has always found it important to share the wisdom that became a part of his life, the experiences which unfolded as an entrepreneur. And before I formally welcome him to connect with you and share his views, I compliment him for the third book, which is The Bottom Line. And he started as an author, in addition to being an entrepreneur, with the book Get Up, Don't Give Up. And so I won't give up, and I'll go to the second book also, which is World is Yours, Provided. Now, provided has a lot of dot, dot, dot. So, what do you do that you learn from someone like Deepak Vakil also. So, Deepak, you let us learn about you from your childhood days and how life was for you. What was the vision and dream? What you wanted to become?
Okay. My life has been tough all the way, and I have no complaint about the life. Actually, had it not been tough, I would not have been what I am. So, adversities in other way proved to be the blessings in disguise. When I was born, I was born in a city called Ahmedabad in India, and I lost my father at the age of 9, and then onward the life was always tough. I worked my way hard and got scholarship to go to England, and I did my post graduation in England. When I came back, I had a job. I was recruited from the campus in London University, and I came back to India. I had a job as a production manager, but I didn't like the environment. Not that it was bad, then I mean it was worse than the England or nothing like that. But that particular factory was making grinding wheels, and I realized that people were dying of tuberculosis because they were inhaling the dust and all. I tried to improve the situation. Boss did not agree. So one fine day, I left my job, and at that point of the time, I didn't know what to do. But I decided one thing, that I do not want to work for someone. I'll work for myself, and I got transformed from an employee to an entrepreneur.
Because let me stop here. And this transition is quite interesting. And many people think about it. Some people venture, start doing their own thing. Many people take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And what are the major points that one should consider while thinking about this transition? And was there any mentor at that time for you who helped you in making the decision?
There was no mentor for me. My conscience was the only mentor. You see, what happens is entrepreneurship is not meant for everybody. I will give you a simple example. When you want to know that XYZ can become an entrepreneur or not, you have to ask a simple question, that would you like to be a driver of Mercedes car, or would you like to be an owner of motorbike? Now he or she answers the question honestly, that I want to be owner of motorbike and not a driver of Mercedes, then he or she is cut for the entrepreneurship. The essence of this example is, when you want to be an entrepreneur, you are working for yourself, but you come last in the line to get the monetary benefits. And there has to be a fire in your belly to prevail over so many adversities. If you like security and if you like set income, 9 to 5 routine, you're not cut for the entrepreneurship. And this transition for me was not easy as well. But I had decided not to be an employee, and I did what I wanted to do. That's why I am what I am today.
So now I understand that you were not only doing the business, but you were also learning about life through your business. So, initial lessons that came your way through your struggles,
Yeah.
anything that has stayed with you in terms of the way you responded to any adverse circumstances as a small entrepreneur?
Okay, there are many incidents which, you know, they were very serious, and there were times when other person would have given up. But I didn't give in because I had a faith in one thing, and that is hard work, consistent quality, not giving up to short ways or cutting corners. We wanted to produce the best possible quality at lowest possible prices, and the philosophy was simple: leave no stone unturned on your way to perfection. There were incidents when we were not having funds. There were incidents when the checks had bounced. There were incidents when people had let us down. They would have not, they could not supply raw material on time. There were incidents when government officials gave us very hard time. There were incidents when customs did not allow our cargo to go for Christmas shipment and all, for no rhyme or reason, you know. But being an entrepreneur, you have to prevail over all this situation. Look, when you are playing cards on the table, you can't complain about what type of cards you got. You got to make the best out of the cards you are dealt with.
So maintaining and sustaining this spirit is really, really important. And any book or when you felt that there is a acute sense of helplessness because government officials are giving you hard time, b you are waiting for your payment to come, and maybe this list could have
Yeah, it's
more
a
and more
long
things.
list.
So how would you maintain a sense of harmony as well as the spirit where you can say don't give up?
Look, this has to come from within. Now, if you are comparing at any given point of time that I have done this, my choice was wrong. I should have had a job. I should have not taken up the path of entrepreneurship. At that point of time, you have already given up. But if you steadfastly go on the route which you have decided, that irrespective of all the obstacles, I do not want to give up, give in, and I want to go on. There is a spiritual aspect to it that, you know, when you think that everything is going wrong, what shall I do now? I realized that at that point of the time, God really helps you. Like somebody has not paid you, but some order comes in. Something happens which God wants you not to give up. And I've realized this, I've experienced this not once, but many, many times.
Writing a book also is not an easy task. You need
Yeah.
to have clear structure or at least deep and intense desire
Yes.
that there is something that you want people to learn or know or you want to share. So, talk to me a little bit about how the first book came into being. You dreamt of the book or it
not.
unfolded as you started writing?
Okay, I can write another book on how to write a book. And fifth book maybe on how to get published. And then one more, even if you are a published author, people won't buy your book. And even if they buy, they might not pay you. I've gone through all this in the commercial world. Uh, but joke apart, look, I do not write books for making living. I wrote books to reveal how I live. You know, with God grace, I'm making enough money in my business. Why I started to write book was the reason was very simple. The the main reason behind writing my book was to inspire people, I mean the reader, and transform them life. And the basic message was that if I can do with all these troubles, in spite of everything, why can't you do it wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you are doing? You know, the message was again, get up, don't give up. And again, world is yours, provided you never give in or give up. You know, that
So,
was the
so don't give up, and I'm not giving up. I have more questions that I'm going to be
Okay.
asking Deepak Vakil Sahab. And Vakil literally means attorney. So
Yes.
he, I think, is an attorney of love for life. And in your books, reference of love also comes now and then. Um, Talk to me about love as a source of strength.
Okay. Now you touch the subject of love, and that is also out of experience. When I'm working in factory, I'm in love with my people. We have girls working in the factory, but they look at me in a different aspect. You know, for them, I'm father, brother, provider, protector. When I come back to my house, you know, that love changes. So the wife is there, I'm tired, and she does a lot of things for me. So love doesn't come into one form, you know, it has so many forms. And that there is another love which you love God and you tell God at the end of the day. Sometimes I said, why me? You know, why all these troubles? Why me? You know, why can it be? Isn't it enough? But so love also sustains your life, you know.
So I think many people can identify with this question, why me?
Yeah.
And there are wonderful, sharp as well as shining expressions in the book. The bottom line. So I'll read this one. The biggest mistake, I think everybody would be able to identify with it. The biggest mistake perhaps we all make in our lives is to undervalue the things we already have and overvalue the things that which we don't have. Now, it is true, but how to change this habit pattern?
It has to come from within. Look, if I have a Toyota car, and if my neighbor brings in Mercedes, I should not say that, oh, he's got a Mercedes, I have got Toyota. I should be happy, and I should be satisfied with what I have. I'm buying a Mercedes and replacing Toyota by Mercedes is not going to give me happiness at all. But it is the thought, which is the negativity, that why he has and why I don't have. You look at the guy who is on a bicycle, and you think that he doesn't have even a motorbike, and I have a Toyota. So don't don't compare yourself with anybody. What you have is God given. Try to go up. It's not that you don't become ambitious. You should try and go up in life, but you should not envy. There is a difference between being envious and being ambitious.
There is a difference between being envious and ambitious. We need to process it. But when you say that be satisfied with what you have, then where is the space for
No.
the kind of ambition which is necessary to survive sometimes in the competitive world?
I don't mean that one should be satisfied with what one has. When I say one should be satisfied with one, you try and go up on the ladder of life, but do not be envious. Go up, but not in such hurry that you fall down. You have to climb up. You got a one-bedroom house. Try and get a two-bedroom house and go up. But don't envy others that he's got a house and I have not. And don't try to cheat others and add speed to your going up. Don't cheat others that I want to change over to better house, bigger house, better car. Work hard. Work is the only source for, bringing your life to a next level. You get united when problems are common. And being small is not a crime. Be small but significant. I always tell entrepreneurs that you have to be small but don't be insignificant. Small and significant is better than big and insignificant.
These are wonderful terms. So when you say significant, what would you clearly communicate? As you have
Yeah.
often mentioned that it is important to communicate in a precise and concise manner. So, who is significant?
Look, a significant person is the one who creates wealth for all the people around him. He is a protector and a provider, and he puts himself last in the queue for getting the rewards. Like basically, entrepreneurship means taking risks, and it's a pure joy of being tired at the end of the day. But that satisfaction you get after creating something which benefits everybody involved, it's worth more than $1 million. Money is a byproduct. It becomes a byproduct at certain stage. But in beginning, you might not see money, and you keep on working hard. Like if you remember what is said in Gita is, like Krishna says, that it's your duty to do your dharma, and you keep on going. You have no right to the fruits of your labor or karma. But I've realized that God always looks upon the person who is working hard, and the success may be delayed, but success can never be denied. Remember this word. I have never seen success being denied. It may be delayed, but when it is being delayed, do not think that it has been denied to me.
These are the words that remind me of what we read in Sai Baba's temple, Shraddha and Saburi. So, Saburi in English would be translated as have patience. What he is saying is success may be delayed, but it is not denied.
It can never be denied.
It can never
be
be
denied.
You have said divorce is not a marriage malfunction, but love malfunction.
Yes.
Before I ask you to elaborate that, let me also read another quote on love from your book, which is: "Love is a bliss when heart and mind both have consented. Love can be a pain when either mind or heart has not consented." Wonderful.
Okay, the first thing you said that the divorce is a malfunction. Like, I'm not a writer or author on divorce or thing. But what I want to say is the basic idea of writing this book is not just to help entrepreneurs. This book is like a white paper on life and work and entrepreneurship, and it should help reader in any condition he or she is, irrespective of where you are. Coming to that divorce and all thing, you see, divorce is not marriage malfunction. It's not that I married to wrong person. It's never person. When love evaporates due to many reasons, we blame that he was or she was a wrong person. Not a wrong person. It is the absence of love, absence of understanding, absence of patience, absence of tolerance, which results into this. You cannot blame individuals. You have to look inside yourself. And when there is a divorce, both have contributed, maybe 70-30%, 50-50%. And we see that tolerance and patience and love had evaporated. And this is the reason.
And one more quote before we thank you. And I think this has a wonderful message for one and all. It has pragmatic approach also. Marriage is expensive. Who can deny that? Divorce is more expensive. And here's the third one, which comes from Deepak Vakil, and that is: remarriage can be extremely expensive. Have you come to this conclusion based on your observation?
Look, it is not my personal experience. I have one wife and one son, and I'm happy. But you see, this is a fact. I've seen people getting married in hurry, okay, in hurry, whatever may be the reasons, and somehow the marriage doesn't work out. I mean, look, people spend a lot of money when they get married. And sometimes they thought that this marriage is not working out, let me get divorced. And I do not have to tell anybody that how expensive divorce can be. It differs from place to place, it differs from time, whether you have kids, whether you have a house, and whether you have to share your house and kids with your spouse or not. So it's more painful. And the lawyers, if you add to that divorce thing, it's more expensive. But then comes the remarriage. The cost of remarriage. It's not only the financial cost. The emotional cost is there. You have left somebody behind. You have left so many emotions and you have broken heart. And now you're doing something else. And there is no guarantee that it may not go in the same way. So it is not only the monetary cost of remarriage. There is a sentimental cost. There is emotional cost. And the uncertainty is still there. I cannot elaborate more on this, but I'll tell you one more thing, that if a person keeps marrying again and again, I think the fault lies not with the wrong selection, but something within him, which is wrong thinking or person, that he had to get married again. If it doesn't work once, I think chances are less of working it twice, and very less is working third or fourth time.
Absolutely. So, talking about entrepreneurship and decision of whether you are a potential entrepreneur or not, Vakil Sahab said that it should come from within. And I think this question should also come from within, whether there is something that you should rearrange within yourself so that the marriage survives. And as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, your vision for future, your dream, anything that you feel you would definitely like to have in your buckets list, as they say now.
Look, I'm 67, but I still want to go on. I've written in my book that you should not die before you are dead. A lot of people tell me, slow down. I mean, 2 months ago, we bought another industrial place. We imported very expensive machine. A lot of people told me, Deepak, you are 67. Haven't you enough? Look, I don't do this for money. I look at future. I look at my people. I don't want to tell them that as soon as I'm dead, the show is over. I mean, they have their provident fund insurance. I don't think that I'm going to die, so this is not going to work. And how many years will I survive that I'm looking? I plan for future as I'm never going to die. But I conclude every day of my life as if tomorrow may not be visible to me.
Such a profound statement, and I don't know what to say. Such a wise man who has put his wisdom into practice or who has earned wisdom through life experiences. So, let me ask you this last question. Life has taught you many lessons,
Yes.
and do you think through your books or when you share your wisdom, people are as receptive as you would like them to be, whether people who are working with you or people whom you are addressing somewhere? And allow me to also supplement this question by requesting you to tell us what would qualify them to receive 100% essence of call that teaching or learning of Deepak Vakil sir.
Question was very interesting. That you asked that whether they are receptive or not. I don't want to give one line answer no, because everybody is not in one category. To make this atmosphere a little light, when I completed my first book, there were people who thought that Deepak has written a book. Deepak is my friend. I have to buy a book. If I don't buy a book, I'm in bad books with Deepak. Okay, so they bought book, but I know that they bought book because they thought that if they don't buy book, they will be in bad book. Okay, but I knew that he bought or she bought book and she or is not going to read it. Okay, and I can't force somebody to read my book and report to me that have you learned anything from it? You can drive a donkey to water, you can't make them drink. Okay, then comes to that further question you asked. Whether they are receptive and whether they can pick up from this. Look, again, it depends on your willingness, one's willingness to learn. I mean, these books are white paper on life, as I told you. There is something for everybody. A reader can transform their life by reading these things. And there were people also who lied to me that Deepak, your book is so good. I read from first page to right, and one sitting only. It was so interesting that I could not put your book, and I know for sure that that was also a lie. That was also a lie. But there are incidents. If you allow me, I'll tell you one incident.
Please.
When I completed my first book, it was quite successful and all. Then I always love to interact with reader. Some of them interacted, some of them said, when are you writing your second book? And it was inspiring for me. One incident took place after about 6 months of this book. One girl sent me an email that this book has saved my life. I said, who is this? Unknown email. I'm very worried about to answer also. But I made sure that she was right and she was not just bluffing. So I got into communication with her, and then I sent an email that tell me how this book saved your life. So she said, Deepak sir, they call Deepak sir or Deepak ji as you know, said I was about to commit suicide because I scored 97% mark and I missed my admission in medical college for 3 marks or something because the admission stopped at 97 point something. And she was so disappointed that she wanted to commit suicide. She had decided the place and time and the method also of how to commit suicide. The train was going to pass and she had to jump. She had 2 hours before, implementing her plan of suicide. Her friend somehow met her and said, why don't we go for a cup of coffee? That friend of hers had a book, Get Up, Don't Give Up. And they said, this is good book. I don't know the author, but why don't you read it? She said, in her heart and mind, she said, where do I have time to read? I'm going to do what I want to do. But that friend left the book with her. She said that I read the book. Still, I had not decided not to commit suicide, but I allowed that train to pass by, the one she wanted to commit suicide. Okay.
She delayed.
Then she said that I will take second train, which was after 4 or 5 hours. She read more from the book. This is not my story. This is her story. And eventually, she decided not to commit suicide. I am still in touch with her. Then she did her PhD in other subject, and today she is a faculty in some university, making very good money, married and has a kid.
That is such a touchy, wonderful inspiring story, and this one story itself convinces me that the purpose of writing books by entrepreneur and consciously experiencing life, Deepak Vakilji has made significant contribution with lots of good wishes, and thanks to all of you. One with lots and lots of joy and good wishes. This Creative Insight Kabir Award, it reads, honoring the art of conscious living and soulful expression. Insight for Creativity is pleased to recognize author, entrepreneur, and thought leader Deepak Vakil for imbibing the spirit of Kabir as a sensitive, thoughtful, and conscious entrepreneur. We applaud him for sharing the vision of vastness through his soulful expressions, wishing peace, joy, and success with creative satisfaction.
Thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed. Thank you very much.